Welcome, fourth graders, to your subject and predicate simple sentences lesson for October 27th. Your objective for this lesson is I can identify and explain the complete subject and complete predicate in a sentence. Before we begin the lesson, you're going to be completing page 1 and page 2 of your simple sentences subject and predicate notes. At the end, you'll highlight and write in the text boxes on page 2. At the end of the lesson, you will do this with me. So, since you know that at the end you'll be filling in the text boxes and highlighting your notes and completing them, the expectation during this lesson is for you to focus, pay attention, and to follow along with me. A noun is a word that represents a person, place, thing, or idea. An action is a thing someone does or performs. A verb is a word belonging to the part of speech that expresses an action, event, or state of being. And an action is always a verb. Remember, a verb is an action, a thing that you do. So now, why is writing important? Writing is an essential communication skill. If you can't write, you'll probably find it more difficult to communicate with people. Your thoughts become more organized. Writing is an important work skill, and it helps you to think through problems. Writing is important. You need to be able to communicate in your writing in fourth grade, middle school, high school, and college, and when you get a job one day. Writing is very, very important. It helps you to be organized. So we are going to be learning on how to write a simple sentence with a subject and a predicate. The sentence has two parts. A simple sentence contains a subject and a predicate. The subject is the who or what of a sentence, and the predicate tells what the subject is or does. The noun is the subject, the person, place, or thing, and the verb is the predicate. In our example sentence, Robert walks to the bus stop. Robert is our who, our noun, our person. Walks to the bus stop is what Robert is doing, what the subject is doing. And it has the verb walks. That's an action, a thing you do. And that's the predicate. And we're using green to identify the subject and blue to identify the predicate. Let's look at more example sentences. Let's identify the subject and predicate of this simple sentence. I picked a basket of apples. Now, I would be the subject. The pronoun I is the subject. Picked a basket of apples would be our predicate. Picked is the verb. That's where the predicate begins. And Branson painted the house. Branson would be our subject, our person, our who, our noun, and we use green to identify the subject. Painted the house would be the predicate, what Branson is doing. Painted is a verb, something that you do, it's an action. So painted the house would be the predicate. The yellow chick pecked through the shell. Chick would be the subject. Pecked through the shell would be the predicate. And that's telling us what the chick is doing. And then chick was our noun, our who. Now, a simple subject is always just the noun or pronoun. So when you're identifying the subject and predicate in a sentence, if I ask you to identify the simple subject, you're going to be looking for just the noun or the pronoun, one word in that sentence. If I'm asking you to identify the complete subject, good writers know that the complete subject is the noun or pronoun and its modifiers, meaning all of the words in the subject, all of the words in that part of the sentence. Let's look at this example sentence. The yellow chick pecked through the shell. The simple subject in this sentence is just the noun the one word. So chick would be the simple subject, and we highlighted chick. The complete subject would be the yellow chick. The noun and its modifiers. Modifiers means all of the words in the subject in that part of the sentence with the subject. Yellow is an adjective. It's describing the chick, and the is an article, the first part of the sentence. The simple predicate would once again just be one word. In this case, it would be the verb, the action. The complete predicate would be the verb and its modifiers, all of the words in the predicate in that part of the sentence. So pecked would be the simple predicate, and it's highlighted. It's just the verb, one word. Pecked through the shell would be the complete predicate. So complete means all of the words. Simple just means one word. A simple sentence can also have more than one subject. Audrey and Celine walk to the bus stop. We have Audrey, our first noun, Celine, our second noun, then our verb would be walk. So Audrey and Celine would be the subject, and then walk would be the predicate, the verb. A simple sentence can have more than one predicate. Vicente walks the dog and mows the lawn. So Vicente is our noun or subject, and Vicente is doing two things: walks and mows the lawn. So walks the dog and mows the lawn. So walks and mows. Now let's identify the subject and predicate in this simple sentence. Elude and I picked a basket of apples. So elude and I would be the complete subject, all of the words in the subject. Picked a basket of apples would be the complete predicate, all of the words in the predicate. Ben painted the house and mowed the lawn. Ben would be the subject, the complete subject. We only have one word for the subject for this one. Painted the house and mowed the lawn would be the predicate. The predicate, once again, is telling us what Ben is doing, what the subject is doing. And it has two verbs, painted and mowed. And that's the predicate. Julian and Tony painted the door and cleaned the windows. This sentence has two subjects and two predicates. So Julian and Tony would be the complete subject, painted the door and cleaned the windows would be the complete predicate, all of the words in the predicate. And painted and cleaned would be our two verbs, and Julian and Tony would be our two nouns. Remember, the noun is always the subject and the verb is the predicate. The subject is who or what the sentence is about, and the predicate is what that person is doing or does. My silly uncle eats candy for dinner. The complete subject would be my silly uncle, all of the words in the subject, part of the sentence. The simple subject would be uncle. Remember, it's just one word, the noun. The complete predicate, the word eats, is a verb. So that's where the predicate begins. Eats candy for dinner would be the complete predicate, all of the words in that part of the sentence. Then the simple predicate is always just one word, the verb, and it's eats. That's something that you do, an action. The small tree swayed in the wind. The complete subject would be the small tree, all of the words. Simple subject would be just one word, tree. Complete predicate would be swayed in the wind. It's all of the words in that part of the sentence, the predicate. Simple predicate would just be swayed, like moving back and forth. One word, because it's simple. So once again, simple just means one word. Complete means all of the words. So now we're going to highlight our notes in Seesaw and type in the text boxes. And once again, the subject is always who or what the sentence is about. The predicate tells what the subject is or does. The predicate has the verb and the subject has the noun or pronoun. And a simple sentence is a complete thought made up of a subject and a predicate. And a sentence that's simple has two parts, the subject and the predicate. Before we fill out the notes, you're going to be watching the vocabulary video.
So, find the verb, the main verb in a sentence. Then ask yourself who or what did it. That's the subject. Like a sentence is captain. Subjects make verbs happen. So, Dana couldn't stop laughing. Dana is the subject. She's doing the action. She was rolling on the floor. She is the subject. Are you keeping score? The other kids started laughing too. The other kids is the subject. That's true. Her teacher told her to stop, please. Her teacher is the subject. Yes, indeed. But let's get a little more tricky. This one's messy, so follow along with me. Despite her teacher asking, Dana couldn't stop giggling and laughing. Now you might say that her teacher comes first, but her teacher's not the one doing the main verb. It's Dana, the subject once again. Now keep your head bobbing while the hook comes in. Come on. A subject does what subjects love to do. Predicates are what they do. Subjects and predicates too. Make all sentences dreams come true. A subject does what subjects love to do. Predicates are what they do. Subjects and predicates too. Make all sentences dreams come true. If you want to know what the subject does, it's evident. You better go get the predicate. It's based on a verb, the subject's action. Let's get back to Dana and see what happens. Dana told her friend a joke. Told her friend a joke is the predicate, Joe. The whole class started chuckling. Started chuckling is the predicate once again. Or you find a simple subject, simple predicate. These are just the main noun and verb that we've gotta get. Take the girl with the tattoo, ate a cashew. The subject is the girl with the tattoo. The simple subject would just be girl, true. The predicate would be ate a cashew. The simple predicate, that would be ate. We've got grammar, now we're getting cash. Who could ever hate? A subject does what subjects love to do. Predicates are what they do. Subjects and predicates too. Make all sentences dreams come true. A subject does what subjects love to do. Predicates are what they do. Subjects and predicates too. Make all sentences dreams come true. You heard me?
You heard me. So now you're going to add a response in Seesaw and we're going to complete our notes. I'm going to be highlighting and we're going to complete page 1 together. Make sure that you get your highlighter. It's the 4th tool at the bottom. And we're going to look at our definition of a simple sentence first. A simple sentence is a complete thought made up of a subject and a predicate. And you're going to highlight at the end after I highlight page 1 with the green and the blue. So just watch it this time. A subject tells who or what the sentence is about. And we're going to color in the word subject in our doodle notes. And it's always the who, the what the sentence is about. We're going to look at simple subject. That's just a noun or pronoun. The complete subject is the noun or pronoun and its modifiers. Remember, the simple subject is just one word. That's why you have the text box right there. Then we're going to get our blue and we have predicate. Predicate tells what the subject is or does, and that's going to be our verb. So we're going to highlight predicate, is, does, subject. What the subject is doing or does. The simple predicate is the one word, just the verb. The complete predicate, all of the words. And the verb, its modifiers means all of the words. So we're going to add a text box and write complete equals all of the words. And we're going to put this right here. And we're going to make this red since it applies to both of them. Complete equals all of the words. Simple means one word. Then we're going to add another text box. This one's going to be green. And we're going to type the word noun, because the subject is the noun, the person, place, or thing. We're going to make this smaller. Then we're going to add another text box, but this is going to be blue, and type in verb, and then we're going to make it smaller, and we're going to put it in the predicate box. So remember, then we're going to get our highlighter, and we're going to highlight predicate right here. So now, at this time, I do want you to pause and highlight and add the text boxes with me. What I have, you should have on page 1. A simple sentence is a complete thought made up of a subject and a predicate. The subject is the noun, tells who or what the sentence is about, the person, place, or thing. The simple subject is the one word, noun or pronoun. The complete subject is the noun or pronoun and its modifiers. Complete means all of the words. The predicate tells what the subject is or does. That's our verb or action. The simple predicate is just one word, the verb. The complete predicate, the verb and its modifiers. And complete means all of the words. So at this time, I want you to pause, and I want you to make sure that everything that I highlighted, you highlight. All the text boxes that I've added, you type in the words, and please make sure that you write what I write and you highlight what I highlight. At this time, please pause and complete page 1 of the notes. So now your page 1 looks exactly like mine. Let's go to page 2. We have our example sentence. The spotted green toad jumped off the lily pad. We're going to get our green highlighter, and we're going to highlight simple subject, complete subject. Remember, the simple subject, since we're looking at this example sentence, the spotted green toad, that's the first part of the sentence. Simple means one word, the noun. So in the spotted green toad, toad we would highlight because that's the one word noun, the simple subject. The spotted green toad is our complete subject, all of the words. So we're going to underline that twice. Then we're going to switch to blue, and we have the second part of the sentence, jumped off the lily pad, highlighting simple predicate, complete predicate. We're going to highlight jumped because that's our one word verb, the simple predicate. Then we're going to underline twice, jumped off the lily pad, because that is the complete predicate, all of the words in the predicate, in that part of the sentence. So we have identified the simple subject, toad, the complete subject, the spotted green toad, all of the words in the subject. The simple predicate is jumped, that's an action, that's a verb. Jumped off the lily pad, the complete predicate, giving us more information. It's all of the words in the predicate. Now, compound subjects. Now we're looking down here. So subject is in green, then predicate is in blue. Simple sentences can have more than one subject or predicate. Let's look at our example sentence. The puppy and kitten played together. So let's switch to green. We're going to highlight puppy and kitten because those are our two nouns. Then our verb, the predicate, is going to be played. So now we're going to click in the text box, and in the first noun text box, we're going to type in puppy. In the second text box, we're going to type in kitten. Then in the verb text box, we're going to write played because that is the verb, the action. I'm going to move this so you can see. So then we're going to look at the second sentence. The puppy ran and played at the park. This example sentence had two nouns, puppy and kitten. This one has one noun, so we would get our highlighter, move it to green, highlight puppy, then move it to blue, and we have ran, played, which would be our two verbs. So then we're going to type in the text box. We're going to switch from the highlighter to the text box feature, type in puppy. Then we have two verbs, the predicate, ran, that's an action, something you do, played. So at this time I want you to pause and I want you to highlight and type in the text boxes with me. Your page 2 should look exactly like mine. What I do, you do. What I highlight, you highlight. What I write, you write. So once again, the simple subject is always one word. The complete subject, it is all of the words in the subject in that part of the sentence. The simple predicate is the one word verb. The complete predicate, all of the words in the predicate in that part of the sentence. And simple sentences can have more than one subject or predicate. So now, fourth graders, you have successfully watched the subject and predicate lesson. In order to practice, because I want you to become a really great writer and I want you to become really confident in writing with the subject and predicate and identifying a subject and predicate in a sentence, you're going to complete the 1 through 10 task cards as your follow-up work. You're going to be looking at a sentence and you're going to identify the complete subject, the complete predicate, simple subject, simple predicate. Then you're going to complete the reflection writing Google form. You're going to be telling me what a noun is in your own words, what a verb is in your own words, the definition of subject and predicate, and then complete sentences have how many parts. Then you're going to write a sentence about yourself, start with the capital letter and end with the period. Then you're going to answer these two questions. Why should you write incomplete sentences? Why is that important? And then why is writing important? Why is knowing how to write important? Then was this a review lesson or a brand new lesson? So these are your two follow-up works after the subject and predicate lesson. And then turn this in by clicking the green check mark in Seesaw. Great job, fourth graders.